Greetings to you lovely students. I welcome you to today's class. In today's class, I'll be teaching you the topic agricultural ecology. Recall in the last class, I taught you the topic agricultural laws and reforms, in which I also explained to you the land tenure systems. Now, as we all know, agricultural science is all encompassing. It applies geography, biology, applies economics, and so many other parts. So the topic agricultural ecology is interwoven with is an application of ecology, which is usually taught in biology. It is the application of this in agriculture, how ecology has an impact on agricultural lives, and how ecology has impact on the activities carried out on the farm, on the plants, on animals, and also the interaction between animals and plants, interaction between plants and the soil. That is all what agricultural ecology is talking about. So in today's topic, we'll be looking at definition of agricultural ecology and ecosystem. We'll be looking at components of farm ecosystem. We'll also be looking at the interactions among the components of the ecosystem. We'll also be looking at interaction among the components of agroecosystem. Now, agroecosystem could be the fish and water. It could be the crop itself. Agroecosystem could also be interaction between crops of the same species. It could be crops of different species. How do they interact? It could also be interaction between the biotic and abiotic factors. Now, agricultural ecology can be defined as the study of agricultural organisms, populations, communities, and their interactions at the system level in order to determine how ecological principles affect production. Now, agricultural ecology has so much role to play in the growth and even productivity of a farm. How does the earthworm affect the growth of crops? Now, there are two branches of agricultural ecology. We have earth ecology and scene ecology. Earth ecology and scene ecology. So, what is earth ecology? We'll be looking at what this is, how earth ecology has plays a major role in the growth of animals, and how scene ecology plays a major role in the growth of plants. Now, earth ecology is concerned with the study of an individual organisms or a single species of organisms and its environment. For instance, it is the study of a single cattle and its environment. That's one. It could also be the interaction between maize and its environment, those factors that contribute to the growth of the maize. It could also be a study of how the environment affects the productivity, the growth, the lactation of animals such as sheep. Now, the second one is synecology. It is concerned with the study of interrelationship between groups of organisms or species of organisms living together in an area. For example, we have the fishes and the fish pond in relation to the aquatic environment. You could also be the chicken and dogs in relation to their environment. It says it is a study of interrelationship between groups of organisms and their environment. Don't forget, ecology has to do with the environment that the animal or the plant lives in. An ecosystem is a geographic area where plants, animals, and other organisms live. That's according to the National Geographic definition. We also have another definition from Wikipedia, as I'll be looking at it in the next slide. Now, ecosystem also can be defined as a ecological system that consists of all the organisms and abiotic pools with which they interact. That's according to Wikipedia. Now, ecology has to do with interactions or relationship between crops and animals and their biotic and abiotic components of the environment. For instance, you see plants have an interaction with earthworm. Okay, that's the biotic interaction of plants. Okay, Then again, the sunlight has an interaction with plants. So that is the abiotic interaction with plants. So we go to components of farm ecosystem. We have the biotic factor that has impact on the farm ecosystem, and we have the abiotic components or factors that has an effect on the ecosystem. Now the biotic components can be grouped into two. We have the autotrophism, which is concerned about the organisms that produce their own food, which is referred to as a plant. And also the second one, which is heterotrophism, that is organisms that have to depend on the plants for their survival. Now, those heterotrophism are referred to as consumers, while the autotrophism are referred to as primary producers. And one way or the other, they all interact with each other. Now, animals that feed on secondary consumers are usually called tertiary consumers. Now, heterotrophs include all farm animals, the fungi, and some bacteria that has to depend on other animals for survival. Now, interactions among components of the ecosystem. Now, there is a unique interaction among the various components of an ecosystem. For instance, we look at the farm animals that feed on the plants. The plants produce food through the process known as photosynthesis, and this is as a result of the presence of sunlight, and carbon dioxide and water to produce glucose. Now, the glucose that is produced by plants is being utilized by farm animals for their production. Now, these nutrients are absorbed by plants and used in food production. That is the nutrients that is gotten from the soil. Now, let's look at the interaction among the components of ecosystem in some farm animals. The first one, we're looking at monocropping or also cropping system. Now, the interaction between biotic and abiotic factors in the environment are as follows. We look at the crop plants that absorb nutrients from the soil to grow. We also look at the crop plants also absorb water to grow and produce fruits. In monocropping system, the crop plants also absorb carbon dioxide from the air to carry out photosynthesis. We must know that examples of abiotic factors we are talking about includes climatic factors, which is the temperature, the humidity, sunlight, and rainfall. Then also it also includes edaphic factors such as the soils, the rocks, and topography. So how does mixed crop? Now, mixed cropping can be referred to as a system in which the cropping of two or more types of crops on the same land and at the same time. So how does this interaction affect the organism? How do they interact? Now, crops like cowpea are capable of adding nutrients to the soil through some organisms, and also crop plants like cassava obtain nutrients from the soil to grow and produce fruit. There is an interaction. Carbon dioxide from the air is absorbed by the crop plants to manufacture their food through the process of photosynthesis. There's also an interaction. Then again, the leaves of all the crops which fall on the ground decay and add nutrients to the soil through decomposition by soil microorganisms. So if you look at it, there is a cycle between the interaction. They keep interacting. The soil interacts with the plants interact with the soil, and the system continues. Now, there's also an interaction in mixed farming system. The mixed farming has to do with planting of crops and animals and rearing of animals on the same farmland. Now, the grasses or remains of crop, they serve as food for the animals, while the animal dungs and dropping serve as organic manure to improve the soil fertility for crops. Now, both animals and crops release carbon dioxide to the atmosphere during respiration. This helps for the balance in the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Now, some crops again, like cowpea and crop residue, may decay to release nutrients to the soil. This helps to keep a balance of in nature. Now again, crop plants also absorb soil nutrients and water from the soil for growth. Now the next one is in fish pond. How does the activities, how the does interaction in the fish pond helps in the survival of the fish. Now now the fishes in the fish pond feed on planktons in water as their source of food, and the death of some fishes also serve as manure for the microscopic plants in the water. Just like this, the fishes die to help with plankton multiplication, and then the plankton that is being multiplied is eaten up by the fishes. And then again, the planktons also make use of sunlight during photosynthesis to produce their own food. Fish dungs on droppings also provide a source of nutrients in the planktons in the water. Then the next one is in the forest or savanna. How does the forest or savanna affect the ecological system there? In the Now, animals feed on plants and fruits to obtain their food. Animal dungs and droppings all can also serve as nutrients to the soil. Then again, plants obtain nutrients and water from the soil to enable them prepare their food. The cycle continues. The sunlight from the atmosphere is also used by green plants to manufacture their food during photosynthesis. Herbivorous animals which are in the forest also make use of the plants for their survival, while the feces and the death of the herbivorous animal helps for the growth of the plants in the forest. Plants generally release oxygen to the environment during photosynthesis. This oxygen is utilized by the animals in the forest, while the CO2 that is released by the animals has been used up by the plants for the production of photosynthesis. So there is usually a balance between the plants and animals. So I hope to see you in my next class, which will be very interesting. Thank you so much. Do have a wonderful time. Bye.